What's up, guys? It's Brandon Flash. Today we're here with my 2023 Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive. We're headed from Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're headed all the way to Virginia Beach, Virginia. Quick weekend trip to the beach, and you grab a Facebook Marketplace deal. So as I mentioned, this is my 2023 Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive, 4680 battery pack, standard range all-wheel drive. We're going to be heading out from Charlotte, and let me show you guys the route a little bit. So right now I just have the car figuring out a little bit. So we have it going Charlotte to Mebane to up here. And I also have it, so we're making a stop in a place called Irvington. That's where the Facebook Marketplace deal is. And then we have to make it all the way to Virginia Beach and charge. So we need to be able to make it to at least here or here after the first stop, and then down to our hotel. I haven't punched in the exact location, but that's pretty darn close. But luckily there is a supercharger pretty close, so if we're not able to charge at the hotel for whatever reason, they do have charging, but as we all know, that can be a bit unreliable. I might try and push it to Oxford rather than to Mebane. Let's see what it does here. But let's reset the trip while it's doing that. Reset. VA Beach. Not Besh. Beach. Save. So it's still having Mebane on there, so let's do this manually. We'll add like that, and that should do the job. Remove. If you want to know how I'm doing this and why I'm doing this, I have a whole video, how to outsmart Tesla navigation. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. We'll probably arrive around that 6%, maybe a little bit higher. So I'm comfortable with that. We'll adjust as we go. And then we might actually I think that's kind of where we have to stop on that way. But let's maybe just add in Newport News after Irvington. I think that will be a better route, and that way we're not having to do a 45-minute stop. We'll remove charging stops. So now I've kind of manually built my route a bit, and I don't have to listen to Tesla Nav, and we have a lot better optimized stops. So 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and a 5-minute stop instead of a 45-minute stop in there. So that's a lot better route, I think, and we're going to be hitting the road here shortly. So just about 30,000 miles on the car, and we're definitely going to cross 30,000 today. So that'll be kind of exciting.
It's easy to remember where I started, doors that opened up, a place I long to find. My fear and money disregarded for another time. No, I didn't know it hit me out of nowhere. No, I didn't know it, but I had to go there. Take me back to the place I'm missing. Oh, I wanna catch a fever in the underground. No amount of nothing that can replace. I remember dreaming, rolling up just to get away. I'm screaming now or never.
We've arrived in Oxford, North Carolina. Let's see what kind of details we have here. This site is 39 cents a kilowatt hour. We have driven from 91% all the way down to 2%. So you can see 1.9% according to that, and 184 miles driven, 297 watt-hour per mile. Pretty good drive, nice and easy. Let's get plugged in. We're at a Walmart. There's a little kind of strip mall thing over there. Interesting layout with the 4 there, and then the others here. This is a 12 stall version 3 site. But let's see what speeds we're getting. So we're ramping up at 2%. Should be preconditioned, have the destination set. There are 3 other cars here, so we shouldn't be site limited at all. That seems very slow at 111 kilowatts. Let's see if it starts ramping up. I did not see it actually show the preconditioning message. So it's possible the battery's a bit cold, but it is 82 degrees outside. Seems slow. We'll see if it ramps up, otherwise we'll move, but realistically with the 4680 cells, probably won't charge that much faster anyway. So we have very slightly ramped up to 121 kilowatts, but see, battery is still relatively cold, 46C. But that really shouldn't be limiting things. We're getting basically right at 350 amps. So I guess as the pack voltage came up, it's just been riding 350 amps, which is not great. Also interesting to see, it's not showing CCS supercharger, it's just showing supercharger. A little bit odd, and usually version 3s show CCS supercharger. See what this curve looks like. Should be interesting to say the least. Well, we charged to 65% to go 106 miles. Took about 29 minutes, so we're gonna unplug and hit the road. I really don't know where the next stop is, or I mean, site host, so we'll see when we get there, I guess. Let's get on the road.
Yesterday is far enough away to see the difference. No, I didn't know it was coming out of nowhere. No, I didn't know it, but I had to go there. Take me back to the place I'm missing. Oh, I wanna catch a fever in the underground.
We arrived with 11%. We used 54.2% of the battery. Drove 107 miles. We stopped at a Starbucks along the way to see if they had mugs. And where was I going with this? I'm going to charge to 80% while we get lunch at Wawa, which is actually a delightful surprise. We're at the back where there's no logo and there's a lot of trash, but this is a Wawa. And going to see how long it takes. We've driven 291 miles so far, and decent efficiency. 309 watt-hour per mile for all interstate is solid. This is a pretty weird installation. That one's been whacked. That one's falling apart, but we've got a PSU, so the prefab unit here. And then we have 2 more all the way over there. There is kind of like a gutter, like a drain over here. So that's probably why they split them like this, but still kind of a weird installation compared to most. And people are icing it. There's a truck over there, so not ideal, and kind of the back of the parking lot, which was a little different, but it is what it is. Let's get plugged in and see what kind of speeds we get. And while we're ramping, let me show you this site on the map. So this is 33 cents a kilowatt hour, so actually super cheap. I'm using Supercharger credits thanks to your guys' referrals. But there we go, we're ramping 178 kilowatts, 184, let's see, 189, so it looks like that's probably peak. Or I guess 190, 191, 192, wow, that's surprising. So I'm going to keep climbing on. Once you plug in, it lets you keep climbing on, even if you're below 20%. And time to grab some lunch. That truck has seen better days. Wow. Looks like it went into a ditch, popped a tire, airbags deployed. That is a bad day. But we'll see how long it takes to get to 80%. And as is typical for a 3-cabinet, 12-stall site, we have a 1,000 kVA transformer. Over here we have the metering, the CT cabinet, as well as the distribution out to the disconnects that are on each prefabricated supercharger unit. Well, we charged to 84% in about 39 minutes. Now we're headed to Irvington, then down to Newport News, and finally to Virginia Beach. So see you guys next at the Newport News supercharger. Maybe we'll go to the Virginia Beach, just depending on how much charge we have. I just want to do a little bit of a top off before we get to the actual hotel, just in case they don't have charging and in case we want to go anywhere. So see you guys in a bit.
I remember dreaming, rolling up just to get away. Just to get away. Just to get away. Take me back to the place I'm missing. Oh, I wanna catch a fever in the underground. No amount of nothing that can replace. I remember dreaming, rolling up just to get away. Take me back to the place I'm missing. Oh, I wanna catch a fever in the underground. No amount of nothing that can replace. I remember dreaming, rolling up just to get away. Just to get away. Yesterday's far enough away to take me back to the place I'm missing. Just to get away. Take me back to the place I'm missing.
This is Starbucks number 3 today. We are on a mission for the Been There series mugs. We're looking for the Virginia full size. Well, we came up short on, we didn't get a Virginia mug, but we got a Pennsylvania mug in Virginia, which doesn't make any sense, but we got a mug, so success-ish. Starbucks number 4. Let's see if we come up with a Virginia this time. Or actually number 5. No bugs here. On to the next. Brand new Starbucks. Number 4, number 5. Let's see what we find. No luck, but we were wished good luck because apparently no one has them anymore. On to the next. Hampton University Starbucks. Let's see if this one has any. Well, still no success on Virginia, but we got a Houston mug without a box because it's what they were using to hold the stoppers for the hot cups. So we asked if we could buy it, and they said yes. So we bought it because we're that ridiculous. We went from 84% to 7% with 154 miles driven. Not bad, but not great. We're in, let's see, we're at the Norfolk North Military Highway Supercharger, 42 cents a kilowatt hour. At this hour, let's get plugged in. And let's see what kind of speeds we get. Plugged in, 7%, should be preconditioned. We have the site set as our destination. Ramping up. That is really not good. There are a few other cars here, but certainly not a full site. That seems to be pretty indicative of the performance we're seeing today. Let's go into service mode. See what kind of current we're getting. We might be getting 350 amps again. Exactly 350-ish amps. So it seems like Tesla's maybe adjusted their logic of how they're allocating their DC trays, which is not great. So there's something going on here. 7 to 51% in 18 minutes, and we're headed to another supercharger, and then there's a Starbucks across the street, and then off to the hotel on the water, and we'll figure out dinner there. So let's get on the road. Charge to 51% because I wanted to have enough charge that if I can't charge at the hotel, they have charging, but in case there's not one open, then I have enough to make it somewhere tomorrow. We're at the Norfolk 1146 North Military Highway Supercharger. We also have the OG Norfolk. You can actually kind of maybe see it straight over that way at the mall there. So we're going to plug in real quick. I haven't been to this one. We don't need to charge. It's 32 cents a kilowatt hour. Looks newish. Wawa does a pretty good job keeping superchargers operational. We're not going to get peak speeds, so no need to look at that. But let's look at the setup here. So a little bit interesting I saw as I pulled in. So this is a pretty typical cabinet that Tesla uses. This is the Lincoln Electric Products EV1. However, what they have going on here is that they have transformer. This should probably be a 750 kVA. Where do we have this size? Yep, 750 kVA. So that's coming over to here in the bottom. It's going through this cabinet. So this has the conductors running through it, and then it has CT clamps that are going to the meter here. So that's how they're metering the site. It's going up to this cable trough. It's coming down, and then it's going into the cabinet here. So this is a 1200 amp cabinet. So they have a 1200 amp main most likely, or it could be main lug only. And then it's going to two 600 amp circuit breakers over to the cabinets over there. So a little bit of an interesting site. And we're just gonna stop here for one moment. Starbucks is across the street. That's the main target here. So it turns out this is a main lug only cabinet. So grounded neutral, 1200 amp, main lug only, 65 kA, 480 volt. So yeah, there's no main circuit breaker in there. It's just two 600 amp circuit breakers. And there could be a breaker in there. There could be a fused disconnect. Not sure. Anyway, there's a site there. We have another Model Y over there. There's Hooters, there's Wawa. We love Wawa. And just going to be continuing back on the road. Low emitting, fuel efficient vehicles. I guess no emitting and no fuel works too. Starbucks number 6, I think. We've made it to the hotel. Pretty decent, 4 points by Sheraton. Virginia Beach oceanfront. We have an oceanfront king suite. And there is the view. You can see the pier, boardwalk. I'll have to show you guys the charging setup. It is quite something.
I don't think I really realized how commercialized.
Well, we made it to the hotel a little while ago. I arrived with actually 52%. We have a 48 amp level 2 charger here at the hotel. There are actually 4 of them. I'll show you the setup in just a moment. It's a bit strange. But here's some stats from today. So 300 watt hour per mile or 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. So pretty decent efficiency considering 70-ish miles an hour plus. But yeah, this is at the 4 points by Sheraton. Or yeah, 4 points by Marriott, something like that, in Virginia Beach. Sorry, it's been a long day of driving. But they have 2 Tesla wall connectors, and they have 2 Clipper Creek level 2s. There's a Rivian here. I was the only one here using the chargers when I got here, but there's now a Rivian R1S. Here's one of the setups. So I'm using the Tesla wall connector here. It's on a 60 amp circuit, maybe even more. I'm getting the full 48 amps that my car can take. There's also the Clipper Creek here. Let's see if this is a 40 amp output. Output 48 amps continuous. So that's actually awesome. So 48 amp level 2. That's one of the setups. And then over here, they have another one of the setup. It's very strange where they put these though, right in the entrance of the kind of valet area. This Model 3 is using it tucked out of the way as much as they can. California plates. And again, another Clipper Creek and a wall connector. They're not charging yet, but that's the entrance to the lobby. And then this is the like kind of check-in area. So unless you do like what I did and pull up on the curb, which I don't know if you're intended to or not, you're definitely in the way. I don't know why this Rivian isn't charging yet. They certainly can. I don't think there's any interlock here between these two. I think they both just work fully functional. I don't really know how they intend to have 4 cars here. This side's not too bad. You can get 2 cars pretty easily, but that side would block the whole turnaround area if you had 2 cars there. Unless you parked in the bike area, which would not work because there are bikes there. So I guess you could block right in front of the door. I don't really know. It's a very strange setup that I think has been here for quite a while and was before EVs were as common as they are, and probably didn't see very many cars at that point. But I actually turned down the current from 48 amps, so that way it charges up to 100% and finishes kind of right before we leave, probably sometime late morning. That way it's not sitting at 100% unnecessarily. But we're gonna grab some ice cream. We just grabbed some dinner, and then relax for the evening, hit the beach in the morning, and then I'll see you guys when we hit the road again. Good morning from Virginia Beach. Just figuring out the route. We're charged to 100%. Need to grab some lunch. It's about noon. Spent the morning on the beach. But let's get on the road. We're going to be stopping at some version 4 or version 3.5 sites, as I like to call them, because they don't actually have version 4 cabinets. Let me show you the route. So we have some stops that are beyond what I would consider necessary, if you will, for charging purposes. But this is a version 4 post site. This is at a Wawa because we want to grab lunch. This one is a version 4 post site. This one is the only one that we actually kind of need to stop at for charge, because between here and there's not a charger that I haven't been to before. That's a nice one out of Sheets. And then this one I haven't been at before, and this will allow us to have a decent amount of charge before we head into Charlotte, and then I'll charge at work tomorrow. So that way I'm not arriving dead. But we have 5 stops along the way, and let's get on the road. Looks like we'll get back around 6:15. That'll probably be closer to like 7:15, 7:30 realistically, with a little bit of extra time built in for some video and such. So let's get to it. Arrived to Suffolk, Virginia. This one is 34 cents a kilowatt hour. We've driven 44 miles, so not very far. Decent efficiency. It started preconditioning 22 minutes ago. We're at a Royal Farms gas station. Actually, pretty darn nice looking. It must be brand new. And this site has version 4 posts, so as you can see here, but I'm going to get plugged in and then I'll give you guys a quick tour. We've got the little emblem there. We have payment terminals. Let's see if we have Magic Dock here. So to do Magic Dock these days, you press and hold. This site might not be open to non-Teslas. I'll have to take a look on the Tesla app. So you press and hold for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Then you should be able to push it in and pop it out, but guess not. We do have payment terminals here, but they're not turned on, so that's kind of a shame. You can actually see the precast bases are kind of popping up or popping out from against the curb, so seems like maybe not the best installation here, so that's a little strange. we're at high state of charge, so the charging rate that we'll see is irrelevant. This cable's already kind of coming off a little bit. These cables kind of seem a little chintzy to me, but we do have an ADA stall here. So we've got that one on the edge, and then this one with the actual cutout there. I'd be curious how they managed to maintain 2% slope for ADA compliance with this drain here. That's a very interesting decision, I'd say. And it did say that 2D was unavailable. So that's this one here. You can see the label. I don't know what's going on with it. But version 4 posts or version 3.5 sites are strange. And this is some very weird bollard sign placement that I don't know how that got approved by Tesla. That's a terrible design. You have to wrap the cable around, which is just crazy to me. So let's go over to the infrastructure up here. So this is very similar, actually basically the same as any other version 3 site. So we have the transformer there, 750 kVA, so about 750 kilowatts. And then we have power coming in down there, CT cabinet, wire trough, down here, incoming to the 1200 amp cabinet, main lug only. And then this is then going to each cabinet, 600 amps to each one. And then there is a DC bus between the two cabinets. Let's take a look at the part numbers here. So there's the label, so you can see 250 kilowatt, 631 amps. But as of a couple days ago, these are actually being boosted to 300 plus kilowatts. So we'll see what that turns out to be and how that goes. But this is the site. I'm gonna run in and use the restroom. We don't need to charge here, so just take the little bit of charge we get and then get back on the road. So I just confirmed on the Tesla app that this site does require an adapter to use, but the site does in fact have Magic Docks installed. So it's very strange to me that Tesla would have some sites that they don't open to all, or that they open to only vehicles with agreements with Tesla. So you would think that they would want to have as many kilowatt hours through here as possible, but I don't really understand Tesla logic sometimes. It's a bit of a shame. And this is, again, just kind of crazy to me that they would have that wrapped around like that. Charge up to 93% while filming and using the restroom. We're off to Franklin because it's a Wawa and we want Wawa for lunch. It is Hoagie Fest, so they have some deals on hoagies there. So $6 for a 12-inch, I think, or 9-inch, something like that. Good deal on lunch. So we're stopping there, grabbing lunch. Then we'll probably actually bring it to Emporia because we actually need to charge there a little bit. And realistically, if we stay a bit longer in Emporia, we can probably skip Mebane and make it all the way to Lexington. So I think that's our intended plan here. And let's get on the road. Only 22 minutes to Franklin. And that's just a version 3 site, so nothing crazy there. But see you there. Quick stop here at 84% in Franklin, Virginia. This site is 22 cents a kilowatt hour. That is probably the cheapest flat rate supercharger I've seen in a very long time. That is oddly cheap. Version 3 posts, and this is a little bit of a weird setup. I'll show you guys in a second. This is a fairly new site. So 8 stall version 3. We have 1,000 kVA transformer. That might be for the site. Let's see which transformer we've got here. We've got 2. So that's 1,000. This one is 300. So this one's for the site. That one's for the superchargers, has the meter on it. Over here we have the cabinet. So another 1200 amp main lug only. So pretty interesting setup that they're doing here. Virginia must have an older version of NEC that they're enforcing to allow main lug only. And then over here we have the two cabinets, typical cabinets, but it's very interesting that they would have the cabinets all the way over here. Here's the data label. So we go pole, transformer, cabinet, posts. Very strange setup, but seems like some excessive wiring runs. But time to grab lunch and then hit the road. We're just going to charge up enough here to continue on. Oh, look at this. I might have a free adapter because someone left it stuck. Huh. Look at that. A free electron adapter stuck. Charged from 84% to 99% in the 21 minutes we were here while we were getting food. And now 35 minutes to Emporia, Virginia. We'll charge up a bit there, and then we'll be able to make it all the way to Lexington through Durham and such. And then that'll be our last stop before Charlotte. So let's get on the road. To Emporia, Virginia. It's saying 10 minutes to make it all the way to Lexington, which we'll see how far away that is. So that's 192 miles. So we're going to need pretty much 100% charge, which is fine. I need to eat lunch. And there's a Starbucks over there that we're going to stop and check for mugs at. Looks like this site is 36 cents a kilowatt hour. So all of these chargers are surprisingly cheap, I must say. Not that I'm paying for it since I have some credits because of your guys' referrals. So thank you for that. But maybe we'll add a stop along the way. Let me get plugged in so that we're not wasting time. And these are version 4 posts, but these do not have payment terminals. So let's see if these have Magic Dock. So I'm pressing and holding. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Okay. So these don't seem to have Magic Dock. And again, it catches on the bottom like that as you kind of pull it over. Not ideal for Tesla drivers, and then the torque needed to spin it that way is not great either. So I think I might have plugged into a dead stall potentially. And look at that, charging equipment not recognized. So I guess I pulled into a dead stall. Weird. Let's see what that message is. Very strange. I'm gonna move stalls and try again, I guess. Move stalls, and this time we have success. So strange, that one was completely dead. But there we have power. So just finishing charging up and want to show this site a little bit. Pretty interesting site actually. So this is a version 4 PSU site, meaning prefabricated supercharger unit. Over there we have 1000 kVA transformer, and then we have the 2 cabinets and the 2 PSU units here. But what you'll notice is that on this one, they actually have the entire PSU set at lot grade. So at this level of the asphalt. So this is flat here for ADA approach to this stall. And then they actually built up the curb over here for probably drainage. So this is the first 4. And then they have the DC bus link here. So that's a bit interesting. They actually had to change the elevation between that duct. And then they had to kind of feather this concrete as well. So interesting problem. And then here you have a communication box. And then that's actually a wireless access point for Tesla vehicles here. Here you can actually see the DC cabling a little bit. So interesting there. And this is the stall that wasn't working at all for me. But pretty unique site, I'd say. They also changed how the 600 amp disconnect attaches to the actual charging cabinet. Normally there's a rail directly on it, but now it's pushed out a bit and just uses feet that attach to the concrete base, and then they have the conduit stubs between it. So a little bit of a change there, small nuances, but overall seems to work. You can also feel the air coming out of here. You guys can't, obviously, but I can. So that's probably a huge part of why the version 4 posts have a lot better cooling than the version 3 posts, because it actually can cool. The version 3 are basically just trapping all that airflow in the base of the unit. So big difference, but works. Very nice looking Model Y. Very, very clean. Just about to unplug at 99% state of charge. We'll see if my bladder makes it 192 miles or 3 hours. I've been drinking some Gatorade, had a shake at the last stop, so we'll see. And we'll see also when we get back. Probably need to make a Target stop on the way back as well. We might make a stop a little bit sooner. There are a crazy amount of superchargers along the way, so I have zero concern in that regard. Maybe we'll stop in Archdale or something instead, but there are a ton of options. There's also a bunch in Charlotte as well, so not concerned with charging availability or options, but we'll see how far we can push it, and may as well push it as far as we can. There's no reason not to. I also thought it was interesting that someone was in their Model Y and actually trying to figure out how to activate the station using the QR code as if they were a non-Tesla, not realizing that they just need to pull the cable straight down a little bit more aggressively than normal. So definitely some challenges with these new V4 posts and getting Tesla owners to be used to them versus version 3. And we just hit charging complete at 100%, so time to unplug and hit the road. We're at 100% and it's already yelling at me to stay at 65 miles an hour or less, so we'll see how this leg goes and if we stop somewhere sooner along the route instead.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
There was a Starbucks right along the way, so we made a quick stop. We've driven 36 miles and still 156 miles to go, 82%, and we're down to a 4% estimated arrival. We'll see what actually happens in the real world here. Just over 2 hours to get to Lexington, North Carolina, and then about another hour into Charlotte after that.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
So we've arrived to Lexington, North Carolina. We're at the new Lexington Plaza Parkway location, 39 cents a kilowatt hour, very low utilization currently. We've gone from 100% all the way down to 3%, so we used 96.3% of the battery, and we went 192 miles, 309 watt hour per mile, with 8 miles of rated range remaining, or 7 miles according to our 30-mile trailing consumption. So not bad. Let's go into service mode. Then we'll see the battery temperature, and we'll also see peak current that we get for this charge. So we'll go into charging. So see battery temperature is pretty reasonable, 41 C minimum, 46 max. And let's get plugged in. We're at a completely empty version 3 supercharger. You can see the cabinet. So 16 stalls, so you have 4 of the charging cabinets and then 1 of the electrical AC distribution cabinets. So nice and new handle, button still in good shape even. That's not always the case. So we're plugging in. Let's see what happens. Contactor's already clicking. And we're ramping. $600, $626, $632, and we're already ramping down. Looks like we hit a little over 215 kilowatts and already all the way down. So we'll be below 200 kilowatts in less than a minute. And it is going fairly slow, unfortunately. Quickly ramping down, and that is the fun of the Model Y with the 4680 structural battery pack. Well, right next to the Supercharger are these ChargePoint Level 2s and a ChargePoint CP250 that's only 50 kilowatts. So here are the 16 Superchargers. Quite a contrast, but just wanted to show this unit. So it looks like this was, let's see if we can actually get it to work. Looks like others have struggled with this too. The touchscreen is just completely terrible. It's almost impressive how bad this is. That's completely unusable. This unit's probably a year or two old, if that. Let's see if we have broken latches. Latches are good, surprisingly. This one is, they never peeled the protective film, so just gross. And these are 5.3 kilowatts shared at 30 cents a kilowatt hour. And we have an EV9 pulling up. So the Supercharger side has a 1500 kVA transformer. You can see there. I'm just going to trust that based on the Tesla label there. City of Lexington is the utility. I don't see any other labels that are legible on here. Looks like they may have pulled a used transformer from their yard or something and then repurposed it, would be my guess. Over here we have the 16, or some of the 16 stalls. This is kind of a weird layout. So car here, dead stall, handicap, I guess. Car. A little bit weird. Here we have the 4 charging cabinets. Also looks like maybe they messed up the pad and had to fill this in, or they used a precast and then had to cut it and add that in. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. We have the 4 charging cabinets, and then we have a 2000 amp AC distribution cabinet. Looks like this was built in October 2023, and 2000 amps. Which makes sense because each one of those is rated for about 465, if I remember correctly, incoming amps. Yeah, 465. So 465 times 4 is under 2000, and you have 100% main, so you can actually run it. Then the rest of the 16 stalls and a nice EV9 charging on the CP250. Well, we're charged up to 61%. Just gonna unplug here in a moment. Looks like we'll arrive to a Supercharger near where we're going at 33%. Maybe we'll stop, maybe we won't, just depending on what we arrive with and if we need to run errands. But that should get us pretty darn close and have enough charge for tomorrow. So let's unplug. And something I've never really put together on version 3 is that they don't really have any ventilation. So there's a cooling unit in the bottom for the cooled cable, but there's nowhere for the air to flow. So it's no wonder they overheat, because they can't cool very effectively. It's kind of a dumb design, actually. I'm shocked that that's a thing. I don't know. Anyway, unplugging. Still running, cooling off the coolant inside. And off we go with 63%. Well, we've made it back to Charlotte. Let me show you guys some final stats and a map of everywhere that we went. Very long drive, 833 miles in about 36 hours total time. Yeah, something like that, right about there. We left around 6:37 a.m. yesterday morning. We're back about 7:45 today, so 37-ish hours. So definitely quite a few miles covered today. Let me show you the map. So first, some stats. So we covered 833 miles, 250 kilowatt hours, and 300 watt hour per mile. We're back at 25% charge. And here we have the map of everywhere it drove. So this is from Tessie, which is one of my favorite Tesla API apps. So we drove Charlotte up here. We then went this way up past Richmond area, or not past Richmond, but like up into this area, went down Newport News into Virginia Beach, and then we went this way on the way back. So a little bit different route. Let me pull up some stats. So here you can see each day. So we drove 464 miles yesterday and 368 miles today, and then 265 kilowatt hour used total. So that's not just while driving. So 148.2 yesterday, 117 today. No cost thanks to referral miles and then free hotel charging. 14 hours of driving total. We had 22 drive cycles, so in and out cycles. 318 watt hour per mile according to this, and then we spent the large majority of time in the 70 to 75 mile per hour window. 319 watt hour per mile at that speed, and it was 85 to 90 degrees there. Let's look at charges. So we'll go to the last 2 days, and here you can see 10 of the 11 charges. So yesterday we went 2 to 65% in Oxford. That was our first charge. 10 to 80, 80 to 84, 7 to 51, 49 to 56, 48 to 56. Or sorry, this was at the hotel. So we stopped at 100%. 81 to 93, 84 to 99, 81 to 100, and 3 to 63. So definitely not an optimized trip from the perspective of charging, but there are worse things. We checked out some new superchargers with the version 4 posts, including a PSU with the version 4 post, the prefabricated supercharger unit. So definitely let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. If you're still watching, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next one.